Okay, so let's start our class. Hello, first of all, to everyone. I want directly to share with you my screen to look one time on one of the theory papers to see what we do today. Yeah, very short, will not take too much time, but I thought it's good that it's actually a good opportunity, this online class, that we sometimes take a look on these papers that I made some while ago and use them as a reference so you see what will come. So I assume you see my screen. Yeah, perfect. So today we will keep on working on the second palm. You see it's the mountain palm, trigram mountain. Like each palm is, I think I said this also last time already, is connected to one of the trigrams. Why this is the case, we will see later on. It's connected to the step work, but also of the quality of the palms. So for the beginning, when we learn the movement, it's not the most important, I would say. And this is why I want to look today directly onto the part that we will do today. Until now, we learned, or last week, we learned here, you see my mouse, this the two first pictures here of the second palm. The snake and sparrow compete for food, and the three-layer sink. Also, last time I told you it's sometimes called also the white monkey shakes its back. And what is what is there before is the beginning of the first palm, which is like the pushing the mountains, pushing the clouds aside, seeing the sun, and then pushing the mountain one-handed and pushing the boat down the stream. Yeah, so this is first palm, second palm part that we did last week. And today I want to dive with you guys into the white snake spits venom, into the golden snake curls around the pillar, into embracing the moon. And let's see, maybe we can also finish it today. Actually, I plan to make per palm 2 classes and then finish them. But maybe we need also more. Let's see how we get through. I don't want to rush it too much. So this is what we're heading in today. And with this, my sharing is over. And we start into our training. I want for a warm-up to take one of the essentials, practice this a bit, and then go into the part as I promised in the beginning. Last week, we did the first and second essential. Today, I want to do the fourth essential with the step work. Yeah, so we warm up our stepping, repeat again our basic walking, and like this, diving into our Ba Gua practice. First of all, take the legs close together, the toes and the heels tight. The knees natural, they don't have to touch, but also they shouldn't open to the side. And first of all, just take a moment, stand here, bring the weight a bit to the front of your feet. So the heel is lighter than the ball of the foot. Sit consciously with the lower back. Relax the rest of the spine. And also take care that the head is not dropping too much, but is still stabilizing, straightening the neck. Stay here a couple of breath circles. And I generally recommend this if you practice Ba Gua stepping. Maybe it's your first, if you just do the walking, is your first exercise. Always start like this in standing, first arrive a bit into your posture. And generally for all practices we do, it's good. Take always in the beginning of the class some moments to arrive. Feel here also into your hip joints. See that the pelvis is sitting freely on the hip joints, that the core, the front of your pelvis is soft. And then start to slide with one foot forward and backward. Without taking the foot really down, but feeling with the sole of your foot, with the Yongchuan point, the earth. Connecting also in the end a bit with the earth with this point. So you can touch here the earth, but not completely leave the foot down. Just connect with the Yongchuan point while the heel is still high, and then pull the foot back. See that the foot and the knee, they slide very tight from one foot, from one leg to the front, and then also very tight sliding back. After 5 repetitions, plus minus, you change the leg and do the same on the other side. You can also do more than 5, but it shouldn't be less, because after 5, very slow, very carefully, the muscle of the standing leg start to work a bit, and we want to go a bit into this work. And if you have a good day today, you can also really push it a bit more than 5. This is always, after tension comes release. And if I'm going a bit more through this tension, also the releasing comes a bit faster. While sliding forward and backward, also take care that your pelvis stays sitting, your hip joints stay soft, that you're not shifting the pelvis to one or the other side in order to balance, but you need to be able, simply through sitting down, rounding the back, to keep your balance and the pelvis at the right spot. So in your structure, body structure, it shouldn't be too obvious that you stand on one leg. It should almost look like you're standing on 2 legs. Yeah, usually we try to balance with the upper body by placing the pelvis different when we stand on one leg. This we don't want. We want to stay straight, sit down. And as good as possible, stay in this posture by releasing into this posture. It's also good to really try to slide very low over the floor. Seeing, okay, how low I can go without touching, without sliding. When my foot makes a noise on the floor, it's not good. But at the same time, when I go low, I challenge a bit the feeling with the floor and the sensitivity of my foot. Keep on doing the same exercise. And in the end, you place your foot in the front completely. and you release weight into the foot. So the foot starts to feel heavy without shifting forward. Okay, so I place my foot, and then my foot suddenly gets heavy in the front because I release my hip joint in the front, and because my lower back drops in a diagonal way into my front foot. Yeah, and this is how I can make my foot very heavy and stable to the floor, even though the weight is still on the rear leg. And for this is the thing that you need to have the ability to release the back and release the hip joint to create this kind of heaviness. If you want, you can always change now every step your leg. Feel this heaviness, root into the earth with the front foot, sink with the lower back diagonal into the earth, and then whoop, lift it back. And if you do this also good, there shouldn't be too much of a movement visible from the outside, like I'm placing my foot and I'm releasing my foot off the earth. Yeah, this like break of where I see the weight falls. The weight falls, or I push the weight back. These breaks that we have usually in stepping, I want to avoid. I want to set the foot, send the weight, and then pull the leg back by releasing my lower back off the floor. Yeah, and this is then you can send the weight, send the dantian into the front leg without creating breaks in your movement. It's actually already a step work deepening class now. I have a second to interrupt, to break myself here in this. Otherwise, we will do only step work this class. Also again, when you have now this constant step exchange, see that you're not, when you exchange one leg with the other, have too much of cluck, cluck, yeah, falling from one side to the other. But that also this exchange of the legs is as invisible as possible. Okay, then go into your circle walking with this feeling. Okay, so always place the foot, push the weight into the front foot with the center, and then follow with the rest of the weight to the front, boom, and release the rear foot. Arrive, center push into the earth, weight follows, rear foot release. And you can then also, according to your space, do just half of a circle. Yeah, I will do this here now because otherwise I walk off out of the camera. You can do also full circle if you have enough space, but I think most of us don't have so much space. So do rather a few less steps and do them clean. Do them as wide as you want, as far out as you want. And then rather change a couple of more times the direction. Also remember here these basic principles of walking. Always the ball of the foot touches first. The exchange of my legs is very tight, no space between the legs. Inner foot straight, outer hooking. Take care that the inner foot is not hooking. Yeah? Make it very straight. And then the outer 45-degree hooking in onto the next trigram. The inner foot straight, staying on the trigram. Outer foot hooking. And the last principle of the 4 basic walking principles is that I'm always keeping the heel as heavy as possible until the very end, with my lower back staying round. I release the whole body weight into the rear leg. This is preventing me to extend my rear leg and charging my rear leg. Like I'm pressing basically my lower back, my pelvis against the heel that stays on the floor. This is charging the rear leg. And this charge we release with every step. So avoid a rolling of the foot. Keep the foot sole always parallel to the earth. And look for this charge and release work of the rear leg. Okay, and then we come to the middle and close one time. Okay, now this was now quite short, but yes, for the purpose of warming up, I think exactly what we needed. So we can now go into our piece of the second palm. And I want to look first a bit at the arm motions of the golden snake twists around the willow. Yeah, this not directly the next movement that we need, but it's one of the hardest of the second palm, I feel. And therefore, it's good that we start with this now, focusing on this part. The legs you can a bit ignore now. I go already into a shubu. You can do this as well, but it's not now what we focus on. What we focus on is the arm movement. Yeah. First, I twist both of my arms against each other. Okay, you see this? Like I'm going with both arms as much into the rotation as I can, like I'm twisting a towel. And this is also directly surrounding my back. Yeah, so I'm getting more round. I feel the tension in my shoulder blades. I'm closing my body. From here now, I start to extend my arm and rotate it to the other direction. Yeah, extend, rotate, circle back a bit, and now curl it until the back of your hand is on the back of your head. Yeah, one more time from here. I tell you now the sides. Yeah, my front side is the right side, so it's a bit easier to define now the movement. Twist both arms against each other. Then the front arm, the right arm, is twisting to the other direction and is opening. Boom. While it's twisting, it's extending, it's circling back. Yeah, behind my shoulder here, even. And from here, curling until it reaching the back of my head. My other hand, meanwhile, went to the shoulder. Again. Extend, twist. And the left hand circles, meanwhile, to the shoulder. Whoop. So I'm ending up in this position. One behind my head, one on my shoulder. Now, 1 second, how to turn myself. I let my upper elbow drop, and then I let the hand drop on the side down until it's reaching my center. Okay, so from this behind the back of my head, I go elbow down and then wrist down. So don't make this mistake that the whole arm in one movement goes down, but it's shoulder, elbow, wrist. And this is creating this S movement, I call it now, yeah? Like this snake twists around the willow kind of movement, as the name says already. Yeah, so I extend my right arm, it twists to the other direction, it circles back to my back of my head, and then elbow, wrist fall to my center. Meanwhile, the other hand circles to my shoulder, circles down to the side of my body, and now circles to my center, and from my center up. And this position is called embracing the moon. Yeah. Curl, circle to the shoulder, circle to the back of the head, circle down to the waist. Then this movement you also call take off the helmet. Yeah, when I'm going over my head, take off the helmet while you circle to the belly, and circle up while the other hand circles down. Boom. Then you are embracing the moon position. One hand on the center and one hand around shoulder level, creating a round, nice shape in front of you. Okay, a couple of times. Extend, circle back, down, up. You can change to the sides, yeah? While I start to the right side, I will end up to the left side. And in the best case, you have your both arms constantly moving. Exactly on this line, yeah? And even so, maybe the upper arm, people learn it relatively fast, quite good. The other arm is often difficult, yeah? To have it really from the arm to the shoulder, to the side of the body, to the belly, and then circling up. So it's also making a nice full circle movement around the body. Yeah, and this movement is so difficult because you have both hands doing so different movements in the end. Yes, they're both circling, but one is circling back, curling around, while the other hand circle is much more simple and easy. And still they meet again and they exchange perfectly in the rising and sinking. Ha. If you want, try it on the other side. If you feel comfortable, go with the left arm, extend, take off the helmet and circle up. Always start in this twisting position in the beginning when both arms twist against each other, close the body, and then this extending, spiraling movement is opening the body, stretching it. Close, open. Principle that we call also charge and release. Always have this closing, charging structures, and then I'm releasing into opening, circling structures. Nice. Try to go consequently with the arm that drops down on the side down. I see some of you have the tendency to go diagonal down to the belly, but then it's less round and it's also from the timing more difficult. So have this shoulder, side, belly. Shoulder, side, belly, and up. Therefore, you really need to disconnect a bit in your head the both arms. Otherwise, it will always follow because it's trying to follow the other arm movement. Very nice, good. We add directly the leg movement now, yeah, because it looks already good. It's not so much more to take care for. And also this is why we can directly take it in. So now really take care that you have the shubu here. Knees, you touch with the front foot only with the big toe and the knees turn towards each other. And then you have the legs closing and the arms closing. Everything is closing. Then, now, while I extend my right arm and I put my heel to the floor, or while I extend the arm, I put the heel to the floor and I turn. Yeah, so these two movements come together. Heel, turn and extend. And my weight goes now to the front leg also, to the right leg after the turn. Vroom. So I'm leading towards my right arm. And then I do the same movement, exchange the side, and position my left foot into a shubu. Yeah, so I'm ending exactly in the position as before, shubu, just with another hand positioning, forming the moon. while this here is the white snake spits venom. So from the white snake, heel and turn, shift the weight, extend the arm, whoop, then curl and circle. And when the arms exchange, one goes down, one goes up. The front foot, the new front foot is repositioning into a nice shubu. We first open the pelvis a bit. We first turn a bit against the front leg with the pelvis. And then we open back to a more sidewards position. Yeah, so you have, while you take off this helmet, twist against the front leg. And then twist back into a more diagonal or sidewards position with the pelvis. From here you can reset. Heel, turn, shift, extend. Curl and reposition with the exchanging of the arms. Twist against the front leg. And then release into the moon position to a more neutral pelvis position again. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like here, really like I'm being pulled almost by my fingertips into the front leg. My whole body is opening, my chest is opening, but my lower back I try to still keep under control and round while I do that. And then it's almost like I'm losing my weight, yeah? Almost like I would fall because my arm pulled me out of balance. But then my center is pulling my arm back into balance, is creating this crossing position. Also why I tell you then to spiral against your front leg. And then I release this crossing into the forming the moon position. So you have here two cycles of closing the body and opening the body. In the beginning, I'm closing with my starting position, and then I open. Then I'm curling my body again, and then I'm closing again in the exchange of my arms. This crossing position, when they cross each other and my pelvis turns against the front leg, I'm also closing my body again. And then with arriving to the end position, I'm releasing and open my body. Torben, aber den Kopf aufrechter, bitte. Ja, genau. Schließen, aber der Kopf darf nicht reingezogen werden von dem Schließen. André, du kannst das Strecken vom Arm so ein bisschen mehr nach oben schon direkten leiten, auf Deutsch. Ja, das nicht erst zur Seite und dann hoch, sondern die Fingerspitzen stechen schon so diagonal nach oben, kreisen dann rum und über den Kopf. Das ist dieses Drachenprinzip. Die Fingerspitzen leiten die Bewegung. Und erst nach dem Curling wird dann der Arm vom Zentrum wieder reingeholt. Das ist auch, was wir im Drachen haben, dieses Prinzip, dass immer mal die Fingerspitzen führen und dann der Bauch das Zentrum wieder führt. Also if you understood the dragon, Ba Gua is really no problem. This is the message. But the problem is that what it means to understand the dragon, right? Very nice. Good. Now add the next movement. Take off the helmet. And then embracing the moon. And now front foot opens. It's like the first hand now, yeah? That's why it's easy. We can just take it, open the foot. Doing a nice Ba Gua here. And then my lower hand goes a bit back, charge, and spins into the the hidden flower position. And do my hook step and arrive into the hidden flower. Okay, so I have this golden snake twist around the willow, embracing the moon. Front foot opens into a Ba Gua. And while my front foot opens, the rear hand circles back, up, and then spirals down. And I sit into my hidden flower position. Yeah, only the transition of this forming the moon into the hidden flower is a bit different. That I have here this, I'm opening my hand position even a bit more in order to get momentum. Meanwhile, I do my step, and then my step almost pulls my hand into this embracing movement. So this, after the charging, this opening into forming the moon is already also the beginning for the next movement. Yeah, I'm opening, and then I keep opening into this circle movement of the lower hand. Rainer, mach den Schritt nicht zu groß, ja. Ich mache den jetzt auch ein bisschen größer fast, weil ich, also diesen Schritt hier raus, weil ich es so deutlich zeigen will, aber nicht jetzt zu viel heben und steigen, ja. Also wupp, bleib nah am Boden von hier, wupp, und habe einfach so das Gefühl, die Fußspitzen, die ziehen dich so in diese Spirale rein. Ja? Aber wenn der Fuß zu sehr jetzt zurück, hoch und vor geht, wie am Anfang der Form, das vielleicht der Fall ist, dann ist zu viel an dem Punkt. Eigentlich für alle wichtig. Yeah, so the foot into the hidden flower, the step, is a very small one. Very spirally following the big toe, but not too much back, up and forward. Just a bit forward, as if the toes are very heavy, pulling you into this. And Renate, take care that you not step and your knee is too stiff. Yeah, but you step forward and your knee is still soft and round. Yeah, and this is why my pelvis is directly arriving into something heavy and rooted. If my knee is too stiff from the step, I will step and I will directly feel not so good and not so much in balance, and I also will have this breaking of my lower back posture more likely. Yeah, in Ba Gua, generally, if you do a step, always create the feeling of going a bit more down. It's something I start to say now more and more to people. Because you don't make yourself a favor by keeping the knees to extend. It's always is putting your pelvis into a more tense position and makes it harder to find this rooting and round structure in the lower back. Whenever you step, create a feeling of I go a bit more down. Torben, the circle is a bit too big. Yeah, it now is a bit better, but it still is a bit big. Yeah, like, yes, there's the circle, but if it's really going all around, it's too much. Like, keep it visible, but minimalistic at the same time also, the orbit. Teresa, careful, your lower arm. After the change here, Tag, belly, and then from the belly out, yeah? Make it one movement also. You had now a bit, not exactly sure what you had, but you broke the movement somehow. That this arm is really tuck, 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 tuck. Beautiful, nice and round movement. Yes, yes. Yeah, it's normal that we forget this, then we know it and we forget it. But again and again, check it, yeah? This is also something I correct for people often that do it a long time already. Okay, very good. Let's add the last movement that is missing for our second palm to complete it. And this is the white snake spits poison. After this relayer sink, the movement we ended up last week, we have now here this curling movement and shifting movement of the weight a bit, and then we turn into a gungbu and sting forward. Yeah. So this is the first part of the movement. The white snake spits venom or poison. One gungbu, and then I open more and I go into my shubu. Yeah, and then you're in the position we started our class today in. It's look like a very simple movement, but it has many traps to fall in. First is there's a circle movement of the center, but it shouldn't be too big that I'm going really back and forward, you know. It should be as small that I feel it and I can pull my arm into this curling, but at the same time, it shouldn't completely shift my weight from side to side. So I'm slightly creating the circle, rolling my arm in, elbow goes tight to my body, and here my wrist also completely releases. Often people keep the hand like this. And this is then also very, unharmonic for the wrist and inefficient in the movement. Just release your wrist and follow here again your fingertips also. Boom. And then from this, I can nicely sting from my center out. Boom. This is also why the elbow needs to stay tight, so I can bring the movement really connected with my center. My elbow is somewhere else. This line is broken and the connection to the center as well. Circle, curl in, circle, curl, and turn both of your feet and sting. And then you're in this Gong position with the front hand stinging out and the lower hand is on the center. With the elbow not behind the body, but also not all the way forward, but somewhere in between, more or less like the pelvis angle. And from this position then, curl, shift, change, open the front foot again. And now the lower hand dives to the elbow and like a snake, very tightly exchange with the other arm while stepping forward into our Shibu as practiced before. And with this, all the puzzle pieces of the second palm are there. Train this also a couple of times for both sides. Circle, curl. Open front foot, close rear foot, sting. Open the front foot more, dive to the elbow, lower hand, and then exchange while stepping. Boom. Directly arrive into this closed position. So here to create a circle movement with your pelvis without shifting the weight too much requires this ability to release the hip joints. So the pelvis can circle without influencing too much the position of the legs. Yeah? If my hips are too stiff, of course I can only circle when my legs circle. So look here at your hip joints also and let the movement of the pelvis pass through hip joints and shoulders. Yeah, the movement should also feel and look a bit like the snake. Soft movement.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The second part where we slide under, is it like completely linear or do we go in like an
Well
arch?
observed, yeah. I mean, in the beginning, usually I teach it completely linear, but of course, in Ba Gua, nothing is linear, right? So I'm curling, I'm stinging, and then the other hand is also circling a bit to the side of the arm. And this is creating a bit like a circle movement into this. Yeah, so it's not just tuck, tuck. I mean, it can be this for a basic version. It's not usually something I directly correct, but even better, and if you observe it already now, is that with the sting, there's a small circle coming. Yeah, because I'm curling myself and following the arm like a snake. But you should also not overdo this. Yeah, like try too much. But it should almost feel like this comes only because of your center movement. Don't know how to explain, but if it's too much, you make that, it can be too much. Yeah, it should be more a result of threatening your center into the arm here, like a needle. And this creates automatically this movement. Sometimes the most simple movement are the hardest and also the nicest. So it should also have a bit the feeling of my whole body follows this upwards rising snake. Yeah, and this is why the arm is making this movement, and also why the whole body is a bit like curling. Actually, a similar curling feeling as here, as we did before. Just it's happening on a completely other dimension, but it's also this kind of curling yourself around. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah, I have to say, you guys doing good. It's nice. Especially from you, Timon, I'm surprised. Thilo, meine ich. Nee, Spaß, macht Spaß. Von dir erwarte ich nichts anderes. Okay, good. So let's do now the whole second palm. To wrap this up and to repeat all what we did so far, today's class, but also before, starting in Yin Yang Shodan with our pushing the clouds aside, seeing the sun movement, going into one-handed pushing the mountain, going into pushing the boat downstream. And from here, the part of last week, I hope you still have it. Snake and sparrow, whoop, compete for food. I open my front foot and drop, whoop, while my arms push down. I step forward, arms circle backward, and I push into the end position of the snake and sparrow. Then I cross my arms and open into the 3 layers. Curl the front arm, sting. White snake spits venom, what we did now. And then the golden snake twists around the willow, embracing the moon and hidden flowers under leaves, changing into Yin Yang Shodan. And from here, remember, Yin Yang Shodan, it's like I'm cutting with my upper hand, whoop, something from the side, shook, and in this cutting movement, my lower arm joins into the palm change. Tuck. And then we're on the other side and can just repeat the whole drill again. Pushing the clouds aside, seeing the sun. One-handed pushing the mountain. Pushing the boat downstream. Remember here, it's not a step, it's more like a dropping. My leg drops, it pulls a bit back, all the weight falls down on this leg, and my arms also just cut down. And from this rapid movement, I step forward and circle into the snake and sparrow. Compete for food. Then crossing and the 3 layers sink. White snake spits poison. And the golden snake twists around the willow, embracing the moon. Hidden flowers and yin yang shoulder. Not today, but with the future, I also expect that you know the names of the movements. Because when we go in applications or something, I often use these names. And then you directly know what is the technique, what is the movement, what is the principle behind this application. Compare it always to a boxer maybe, but also need to know the names of the basic punches to communicate with other boxers. And we need this also for our Ba Gua. We need also to know the names of our techniques. Pushing the cloud aside, seeing the sun. One-handed pushing the mountain. Pushing the boat downstream. Snake and sparrow compete for food. 3 layers sink, or the white monkey shakes its back. White snake spits poison. Golden snake twists around the willow, embracing the moon. Hidden flower under leaves, and yin yang shoulder. Rainer macht noch ein bisschen mehr Spiralbewegung im unteren Arm. Ja, hier, dass du so ausholst, das war gut. Und dann früher anfangen zu drehen, dass du diese untere Hand direkt so diese Spiralidee hat. Und bei dir kam das so ziemlich am Schluss, das Drehen. Ja, genau. Okay, then finish your last repetition. Come into standing. Give yourself shortly a moment to stand, to feel into the body. Let the breath calm again. Look where there are tensions that might come now through the training or got more through the training. Try consciously to release again into these points, these areas. In order to release from what is too much and receive what we got now from the training. And then close for yourself 3 times. Okay. Very nice. So yeah, in the end, we managed to get through the whole second palm. I think it was possible because you guys, most of you are with experience with at least another style here. This is why you take it very fast. Usually I think you would need more time, but this also makes it a bit difficult for me to understand exactly if we should take rather a bit more time per palm or like do it in this rhythm that I suggest now, quite fast, palm by palm. Maybe you guys can tell me if it's too fast, if it's okay. I mean, generally, it's not the goal now, of course, to go through the palms and then I expect that you have them all. It's about that you feel like, okay, I can remember the basic palm. I can learn it like that. Or if you end up then in this feeling of, oh, wow, it's a bit overwhelming, I didn't had really time to digest even the last class, and then maybe it makes sense to take more time. But yeah, anyway, we plan to deepen then later with these movements. Now the first going through is only about establishing together the techniques that we all have them. For some of you guys, yes, it's just repetition, and for others it's learning. But this is why I thought, okay, rather we go a bit faster and then later we deepen together. Then now the people that know it already are bored for 5 classes. Let me know what you think, maybe, if you have something to say about it.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
For me, it's perfect like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob?
Same. It gives enough time to like understand what's going on, at least on the level that we are, but it's not too much. So it's enough to then train on my own, and that's nice.
Okay, good.
So what took me the longest in the beginning was to be clear about the differences between the palms and the parts that are very similar. I think it would be great to outline the differences when they're very small, when we go to the next palms. And also the step work became only clear when I actually did the palms with the full circle, because then I knew where in the circle I was, and this helped me to anchor my orientation basically where I'm walking. And without that, I felt kind of lost just with the step work.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is, I think, things we can also do good in the deepening. I mean, I will mention what you say, these differences in the other palms that will come now, because yes, there are the small things that are a bit different from palm to palm. So I will, good that you say it, I will outline it, make it as clear as I can, hopefully. And then, but yeah, this walking again in the circle, I think this is something then we do in the deepening. And this, I think most of us need then also to somehow practice it outside of the room, because then we really need a full circle. I will show it here online, that you have it, yeah, that you understand it, that you can work with it. But then to really practice this, I think we need a bit space. This is always the problem online. But I will also try to bring that, yeah, because every palm you open in another trigram, and this is maybe for some people in the beginning very confusing. That's why I don't bring it usually directly at the beginning. But for some people, as Hannes says now, it's maybe also helpful to understand a bit the angles and where to step and so on. Yeah, so maybe that therefore it's also will be part of what we do now. Okay. Okay, cool. So I would say then next week we go into the third palm, and I will yeah, we will, I think, again take 2 classes for the third palm. There's actually just one difficult movement and a few variations that are a bit different from the other palms, but it's not too much new movement. Yeah. So I think this will be not too hard in 2 classes. Okay, very nice. Thank you for the training today. Then I hope to see you next week for the third palm.